exciting episode of the Million Dollar Peddlers. I'm Paper Guy.
And I'm Mr. Magazine.
And today we're going to talk about market trends. And basically, you've been doing this for quite a while, Mr. Magazine, right?
Too long.
Well, it sounds like somebody's ready for retirement or vacation, something like that.
So jealous of you in so many months.
There you go. Nobody wants to hear about it.
Again.
For the 48th time.
And again.
But what brought this up is I did a quick little, I can't remember if it was an Instagram. Do check us out on Instagram at the Million Dollar Peddlers. Or if it was one of our shorts, I think it was one of our Facebook shorts, about a newspaper that, as a matter of fact, you saw from Boston, the Boston Herald, where it mentioned about John F. Kennedy having been murdered, assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember when we started out how valuable Kennedy newspapers were?
Most were common.
Yes, they would be. They actually, at that time, this is overemphasizing it a little bit, but at that time, their value more was in packing material.
Yeah.
Than it was for the thing.
True.
Themselves. They were tough sells. Everybody had them. Nobody wanted them. You could find them at garage sales, flea markets, anywhere
we'll
for
get the
$1.
locals calling, oh, I got the Kennedy. Well, where's it from? Rochester. Oh, no one wants that one, really. No one's going to pay a premium for that, so.
Yep. And those were very, very common, and they were kind of laughed about. And newspapers in general were looked down upon by most people. Now, obviously, if you had, a true first, from back in the day of Lincoln assassination or, pre-Revolutionary War stuff, that's a different story. But just newspapers in general, they couldn't give them away at auctions and estate sales and things like that.
Right.
Now, it's a different story.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've noticed or not, but it is definitely a different story out there. And I've gone to some online auctions, and I've watched the bidding on newspapers, and I'm saying, looks like I'm not the only person that figured out that these are actually halfway decent now. Because the beauty of a newspaper is, it's black and white and red all over. It's 32 pages. There are so many potential stories in there. True. There could be one little story on the inside about some historical event, and suddenly that's selling.
Yeah.
And people figured that out. And you've got to sit there and reevaluate from time to time. Do you remember 21st September? No, do you remember what they used to call typewriters?
If you said it, I'll probably remember.
Boat anchors.
No, I guess. Oh, yes. Yeah.
That was basically what typewriters were back in the day at auction. You would pick them up. You could pick them up for $5 if you wanted them. And why would you possibly want them? That's literally all they were was boat anchors.
Throw your back out, too.
Have you noticed typewriters?
I saw a couple on Instagram go for crazy money. So, yeah, they must be coming back.
Now, one thing that helped that, from what I understand, is people started cutting some of the keys off the old ones and making jewelry out of it. Mm-hmm. They would do your name out of that over there, and then obviously
that's why Scrabble games are good.
There you go.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Oh. The pieces. Yeah.
I did not know that. There you go.
Sell for a premium.
There you go. There's a bolo right there. But if I were still in that mentality from when I first started in this in the early 2000s, I wouldn't give I probably don't give a second look at typewriters because I don't want to ship them out, but I wouldn't give a second look to typewriters. I wouldn't give a second look to newspapers. But darn it, that there Hot Below and Cassidy stuff is hot as a pistol.
Well, I got a whole room full of it, so I'll have to take a look.
But Hot Below and Cassidy, the Western stuff, is something that was hot back in the day. And I know we've talked about this any number of times. Life magazines with sports figures on the cover. Yeah. Those always went for a premium at the shows. They were always $25. Right. Now it turns out they're really, really common, and most of them are $5 to $8 is just what they were.
Yeah.
But if you're still stuck in the old mentality, you've got that.
Right.
Or I'll give another perfect example, and then I'll stop filibustering and let you give us some examples. I'm only doing this so he can think of some stuff. I'll give you a perfect example. Mm-hmm. And I don't remember which year it was, that 1 year Pro Set, was it 89 Pro Set? Was complete garbage. Well, now all of a sudden, 90, people have figured out there's so many errors in it.
Errors, yeah. But also, there's like Bill Belichick rookie. There's cards like that are $5-10 now. It's crazy.
Well, even some of those errors, because
errors,
some of them
a lot
there's
of-
like 3 different versions of it, and this version's really
Well,
good.
and you can tell by the bottom. The first runs they're all white with the green border on the bottom. The gold ones are the second printing, so those don't have the errors in them.
Oh, really?
Yep.
There you go.
Don't go by a case of the gold ones and think you had a gold mine. Gold is not good for 90%.
Well, there you go. Yet another bolo. So I wanted to throw it to you for a moment because I'm getting parched. What are a couple of examples of things you can think of, either that were hot as a pistol back in the day, that have completely cooled off, and that if you were still following 2005 thing, you would lose your shirt, or things that all of a sudden now, back in the day they were super common. I don't know, maybe some toy or something like that you're like, what used to be just complete garbage, but now is good. I mean, I'll give you another example.
Don't say it. I'm saying it because I'm not going to have any more ideas if you take it from me. And then we'll talk about it after. Junk wax, but go ahead.
Okay. I'm even thinking, though, what are some of the more valuable toy lines out there? Of course, some of the Star Wars, etc., but some of those lines that just died on the vine.
Oh, well, it's funny that I'm learning about now because I bought that collection of the die-cast cards at 64 scale from the 70s, like Tomika, Majorette.
Yeah, the junk.
Yeah, Pocket Toys, the one that had the jean packages.
Yeah.
Those are junky, crappy plastic cards.
They were 49 cents when
And
the other ones were 69.
We're selling them from $30 to $200 a piece unopened. It's crazy, but they're from the 70s, and no one, everyone opened them. They were junk, so there's hardly any in existence that are unopened. Yeah, it's nuts.
Wow, yeah. So that's a perfect example. Back in the day, what would you? This is garbage on this stuff over here.
Yeah.
Well, all of a sudden now it's got a following because there might be a model of a car that's rare. There might be this that's
popular,
rare, or whatever.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
But you were going to talk about junk wax for a
Yeah,
moment.
junk wax from the 80s and 90s. I mean, you could get boxes for a couple dollars, cases for $50, and now the junky 88 tops is $20 a box. And that's the most common of all common boxes. 87 tops, I think, is 40 or 50 now online, so it's crazy. I think the grading obviously helped that because if you could pull a $2 Barry Bonds 87 tops card and get it at 10, it might be worth a couple hundred. So I mean, and now you're still talking almost 40 years old, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so you definitely have to recalibrate from time to time. Just stay up on top of the markets. Because, again, if you're stuck in what was good and stuck in what wasn't good and never change,
Right.
then all of a sudden you're going to miss out on the trends. And sometimes, they just come out of nowhere and you just don't know. And newspapers are something that it seems like everybody all at once opened their eyes to and said, hey, newspapers are pretty good.
Yeah.
And, whether more people started collecting them or, I don't know what it is. I feel bad for the people that had that niche because all of a sudden now they've got competition.
Yeah.
Whereas they didn't in the past.
I'm going to get a new eBay username. Yeah. Newspaper guy.
You don't often make me laugh intentionally, and that was a good one.
You didn't see that coming.
I did not see that coming. Hit the like button. We'll see you next video.
Take care. Bye-bye.